easier contention to make it through to the top 8 at the end of day 2.
Yeah, and we're seeing both players have begun to set up now. We're seeing some prize cards being laid out. It looks like there's going to be some sort of welder engine here. There's a couple of the Dene GX in the prize cards, which are definitely a little bit awkward. So we'll see how that develops. And we're staring down, looks like a Mewtwo archetype that's choosing to run the Giratina in there.
Right, yeah.
It's a non-GX attacker.
Yeah, it is something that we do see some Mewtwo options used as an option just to get the extra damage on, to maybe to even do like cross division for 50 twice, like add in with the distortion door, can KO 2 in case, for example. It's got quite a few nice little uses. It
can definitely make some cute math happen and really make your cross division GX attack go that little bit further, which is definitely a great deal here. And it looks like both players are opting to go for welder-based strategies, as Matias kicks things off with a Reshiram and Charizard. Looks like he is definitely playing Mewtwo himself here.
Yeah, it looks like it. So here we are. Rodrigo on the left, Matias on the right. So like I said, two brand new faces to the live stream. Gonna be a little face-off to see, who will perhaps advance on to 7-0. We will get up the deck list as well for these, so we can get a fuller picture of what these two are actually playing. As we said, we have a bit of an idea already, but we want to get the full picture for you guys, just so we can see what's going on.
Matias with that opening Pokemon communication, allowing him to go ahead and grab himself a Dene GX. So vital for Mewtwo and Mew tag team strategies. It allows you to get some energies in the discard pile early to combine with Solgaleo GX for those turbo strikes in the early game that can be so crucial. It can also just get you towards other cards like Welder and such. So we're also going to see a Giant Hearth come down and see a Fire Energy get attached to that Reshiram and Charizard tag team GX here before he chooses to throw his hand away with the Dede change here.
Yeah, so it looks like what we're having here is actually a Mewtwo and Mew mirror, essentially. So both these players opting to take slightly different approaches to the list, it looks like, but it is, for all intents and purposes, a Mewtwo and Mew mirror.
And straight away we're seeing some important cards that might be useful in the matchup. Things like that Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff, such a powerful attacker in Mewtwo versus Mewtwo matchups, because both find it hard to avoid that amount of damage that it can reach. They're so focused on their own Dene GXs, their own Mewtwo and Mews, so it naturally just becomes a powerhouse.
Yeah, and that's going to be a very important factor in this matchup. I think, both players are playing it as well. So
okay, that's a back and forth.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just going to be a matter of who can sort of bench the least amount of GXs, get away with benching the least amount of GXs before going for their big attacks, so to make themselves less vulnerable to like an opposing Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff.
You're absolutely right there. I don't think I saw any welders in Matias' hand, so he's just going to be content to pass here over to Rodrigo.
Yeah, not that great a start from Matias, actually. Just one Fire Energy on a Reshiram and Charizard, really not what you want at all. Rodrigo, for what it's worth, starts off with an Acrobike. Let's see, finds himself a Giant Hearth and a Mysterious Treasure. Opts to discard the Giant Hearth, because obviously there's already one in play. And another Acrobike, see what that one goes. Oh, Cherish Ball, that could be pretty good find.
That's some good options. I think there was a GX hitting the discard pile as well, which is definitely helpful. That's always part of Mewtwo's strategy.
I think I saw like a brief hint of purple, so probably one of the
possibly a Latios or something like that.
That's also very good. Of course, a lot of Mewtwo mirrors can end up being defined just by doing tag purge over and over again until someone decks out with Macargo or something like that.
Absolutely. So we're going to see the first deck search here for Rodrigo. He's going to be able to go ahead and search out his Mewtwo, as well as do some important prize checking. Obviously, he's going to be looking for his own Mega Lopunny, a Jigglypuff, alongside some other one-hit KO style attackers. Obviously, there's the Charizard GX from Hidden Fates that has a big 300 damage GX attack, which is always something to bear in mind for both players here. Yeah,
that's very important to bear in mind indeed. There goes the Mewtwo into Rodrigo's hand, and another Cherish Ball, so very interesting to see what he grabs off of this. Probably, going for the Dene GX, he just wants that extra draw. If he can find this Welder turn one, he's already going to be so far ahead.
Exactly, he too is looking for Welder here. If all goes swimmingly, he could even manually attach to the active, Welder the bench, and get a Turbo Strike onto a backup Mewtwo. That's the absolute dream.
Yeah, that would be an ideal turn. And even though that would mean that it's opened up the potential for outrage on Matias' side, it still puts him so far ahead on energy that it's still worth it.
Exactly, exactly. So we're going to see him go through the motions here. He's just going to go ahead and use that the Dede change on his own side of the field, get himself a fresh 6, and he's hunting down Welder. It looks like he's also missed that, which is a big whiff from him. He still has Giant Hearth available, so his turn's not necessarily over. He can still get a manual attachment in for turn. But both players missing Welders on the opening turns. That's not what you're after.
No, not at all. I mean, thankfully, if you're on Matias' side, at least you think, okay, my opponent hasn't got turn 1 Welder, so me missing one didn't end up being the end of the world. But yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity for Rodrigo there.
Yeah, not quite firing on all cylinders, either of these players so far. It feels like Rodrigo's got slightly the better side of things. He's got a handful of GXs in his discard pile. Matias does have that Solgaleo early on, but he is missing out on his Mewtwo so far. And they both have to be aware that they're playing their own Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuffs, so they're going to try and limit their benches as much as possible, I would say.
Yeah, so I'm just comparing the two side by side here just to see how different the two builds are. It looks like Rodrigo is still opting for that Jirachi GX, of course that one that shuts off the weakness of all Psychic Pokemon, which are out on the field, whereas Matias is not. He is instead opting for the Weakness Guard energy.
And that could be a huge, huge deal, because it might force Rodrigo to put more GXs into play in the first place.
Yes.
And it's something that could be like Great Catcher, for example, and provide an easy way for Matias to have an advantage here. So that's a good pickup from you there.
Yeah, so because absolutely, if that Jirachi gets KO'd, all of a sudden, you know, Rodrigo has the means to, well, rather, you know, if it gets KO'd, then Matias still has the means of protecting himself with the Weakness Guard energy, but Rodrigo does not because the Jirachi will have gone down. So that could be a huge way to swing the mirror.
Matias is finding his own Stellar Wish Jirachi here with his Pokemon Communication. Not seeing what else is in the hand. Looks like Mallow and Lana is his supporter, opting to use it as just a switch effect, and he's going to get a Stellar Wish off here.
Yeah.
Looking to get a slightly better hand.
Yeah, so let's see what he gets off of this. Okay. A lot of people made that mistake over this weekend. Just a way to remember if folks watching at home, if you're not sure which way to turn the Pokemon for Sleep of Paralysis, Paralysis has an R in it, so that's the one that's to the right. Whereas, just an easy way to remember that.
It's a great little tidbit there, always helpful. Both players are like fully aware of what Stellar Wish is doing.
Well, yeah, of course.
All that sort of stuff. And it's easy to miss, especially when you're a little bit disorientated when you're playing on stream, because your prizes are sometimes the other side of how it would naturally be. So
that's very true. Sometimes you're forced to play left-handed even if you know you might be right-handed.
Exactly. We are going to see the Cherish Ball grab a Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX here, and looks like he's going to have to start developing more energies onto this board. It looks like, again, it's a turn without Welder because he's already used Mallow and Lana.
Yeah.
So it's whether or not he wants to try and spread his threats or keep his bench size limited. But no, he's just going to go ahead and put a Mewtwo straight down,
danger
put
zone.
an energy on. Wow, it's such a bold call.
It is absolute danger zone here. If Rodrigo can find a great catcher and just some means of doing an attack that does enough damage to hit the Mewtwo for weakness, that would be a very big swing turn.
So Rodrigo choosing to manually attach to the Mewtwo the Psychic Energy.
Cherish Ball as well.
Cherish Ball there. It's an interesting call because now, even if he was to hit something like a Welder, I guess he would just pay retreat out of the Dedenne GX. So that's the only option that he's really looking for now. You can see he's eyeing up his own Solgaleo. Turbo Strike, such a great deal, allowing you to put some pressure on the board, get an easy one prize knockout, and set yourself up for maybe Dedenne GX knockouts later on in the game. So you can see he's going to start thinning his deck of all of these useful attackers and set himself up for a big position later on.
Yeah, there is that Jirachi GX we do see in Rodrigo's deck, something that Matias is not playing. But at this point, obviously, Rodrigo doesn't want to put that down because if he does, then he takes away his own opportunity to KO the Mewtwo on Matias's bench. Yep. So he wants to save that until he's in the far enough ahead where he can put it down.
And he might just have a read on Matias. He saw that Matias had to just Mallow and Lana to try and Stellar Wish to try and get into a better shape.
Exactly.
And then didn't really do much after the fact. So maybe he's just having a hard call here that if I can knock out this Stellar Wish Jirachi, I'm just going to be in great shape.
Yeah, and that was a really good Dedenne change as well, discarding a bunch of different GXs, lots of attacking options now, and I believe...
Still no Welders.
Wow. Okay.
Where is that card? It's such a focal point of the deck.
Yeah, it really is. Although, there could have been, if he had a way to retreat, I'm not sure if he'd already discarded Makago or not. He would have been one energy short for actually doing the attack, but if he could find a way to just attach one more energy, he would have had and retreat. And he had a great catcher in hand.
It's all about that Welder, man. He's just missing out on it so far, as we do see Matias gets himself an extra Stellar Wish for free, but horrible targets there, just more Giant Hearth cards.
Yeah. And, he did say Weakness Guard energy, but of course he can't take that off of the Stellar Wish. There is Giant Hearth being played again, just discarding a fire to grab two more, just trying to thin his deck to find something.
It's some strange sequencing. He could have done the Giant Hearth first, of course, and when you are in such a horrible spot, it feels like your only real outs are your Welders to draw you more cards. So I'm surprised to not see the Giant Hearth be played first. Potentially he was keeping himself open for Dedenne change outs and not running out of too many energies. So there's the only argument to doing the Stellar Wish beforehand, but in the end he does really miss on the good targets.
Yeah.
Just going to have to manually attach to his Mewtwo. Things are getting pretty scary here, and it's a huge top deck for Rodrigo.
Yeah, it's Welder. I mean, not only the fact that he gets another turn to attach manually, but now he has the Welder too, so he can attach manually to the active and
retreat. There's a great catcher in his hand, right?
Yeah, this is an absolutely busted turn for Rodrigo. Like, there's no other way of putting it.
From nothing to everything, all in one turn. This is absolutely crazy.
And he's actually just discarding the Jirachi off of the Mysterious Treasure.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is very bold, I guess.
Wait, oh no, it was a Mewtwo, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say he's got himself 4 energies now, so he might not even need to use weakness to take a one-hit KO
No,
on an
probably not.
opposing Mewtwo, so he could like protect himself a little bit more if he wanted to.
But I think surely you still do though, right? Because that way you save your GX attack and then you can do a GX with your second
For
Mewtwo
sure.
to finish off. Yeah.
For sure, it's definitely an option open to him, but just because the nature of Welder is so like wide open to just swing forwards and backwards, that if Rodrigo does go for a one-hit KO style attack, and then Matias does get a response, then he's completely out of energy.
Well, yeah, that's very true.
So he still has a lot to navigate here. As good as the turn is, he can still... Oh, he's thinking about it, you see.
Oh.
He's got to go for the Mewtwo, surely.
Yeah,
it's
he
going to
does.
be the Mewtwo GX that he brings up into the active position.
Now, this is, like you're alluding to, this is the key here. What does he
has
use
no
to get
manual
KO?
attachment. Oh, he has the giant heart.
Okay,
we're
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. I was gonna say, fairly sure he hasn't used that yet. Although there's only one fire engine left in deck though, so actually this could be a bit risky.
This is as all in as it gets, I imagine. Would you even use your Marshadow here just to try and deny Matias his own giant heart?
I don't dislike it at all. I think that could actually.
Oh no, wait, we saw he stellar wished for one.
Oh
Okay,
yeah. That's
so it doesn't
that's
really
the
make
point.
much sense in this spot.
No. We will say, although he's out of energy in the deck seemingly, and as he plays 8 basic fire and 3 basic psychic, he does play an energy recycle system.
Mhm.
So.
Okay.
Uh,
We see the Flare Strike to take 3 big prizes for Rodrigo, and it's now over to Matias. Really like put on a short clock here. I think his only real wiggle room is finding that Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff, and it's got to be found now.
Did you use Slash Strike or Flamethrower?
It was Flare Strike.
Okay. Oh yeah, Charizard's not even in his discard pile.
Yeah,
so,
not quite just yet.
Yeah, so Flash Strike will be enough, of course, with the weakness doubling to 230 doubles to 460 damage.
Yeah, enough. There's a point when you stop counting on your fingers and you just say, yeah, that's enough.
yeah. And also, he couldn't have gone for the Charizard because that is now in his hand. He must
Just
pull.
grabbed it from prizes, yeah.
So, but this sets him up really well because now he can discard after Giant Half and he finds another Giant Catcher. He just wins by doing the GX attack on the Charizard.
So over to Matias, he's going to throw away a Stealthy Hood to grab himself 2 more Fire Energies. I believe he's already used the Stellar Wish. So it's going to be interesting how he tries to navigate this turn because that's a really, really threatening Mewtwo.
Yeah, it really is.
There's already a Magcargo in the discard pile. So he might just be hoping that he can evade a Gust effect this turn.
Well, especially with his manual attaching to the Reshiram Charizard, that does not scream confidence to me. Neither does putting in the 10 GX in the active.
Yeah, this is all kinds of rough
Yeah.
for Matias right now. He's just missed a few times of Stellar Wish at this point and off his own Dead Change as well. It's just a story of not finding Welder early enough in the game.
Yeah, and this is something else that Mewtwo mirrors can often come down to. If someone just like draws more more Welders than the other person, then it's like, well, what can you really do?
And 1 is more than 0. That's still
Yeah.
plenty to get you through the game by the looks of things.
Yeah, literally all Rodrigo needs at this point to win the game is a great catcher, and then that's it, because the Charizard's in hand. So.
Yep, exactly. So that's going to be the incentive for him here. He has to try and go ahead and thin his deck if possible. He's even got a Dedenne GX in his hand.
Yeah.
He's going to scout and see if there are any great catches available to him.
Well, he does play 2, so assuming 1 isn't prized, they will have 1 left. I believe that's right. Let's just double check that. Yeah, he's playing 2. So
yeah, 2 is a very standard count, I think, going into the Mewtwo decks. I think they have to commit so many spaces to like tech attackers now for the amount of matchups in there. Like we've seen Matias with Stealthy Hood, for example.
Yeah.
You got to really cover your bases in the new meta with Mewtwo.
yeah, so Freeze a bit ambitious, basically.
Yeah, it's like you feel like 1 big gust can close out games, especially when you have such great sniping opportunities with this archetype.
Very much.
So we are going to see the Acrobike before the Dedenne change. His board is 4 Dedenne GX and a Marshadow, and there's the great catcher.
Yeah, the game's over. Great catcher gets played, can bring out the Reshiram Charizard, and I believe the other Charizard GX gets started, so there it is.
He's just thrown it in there. 300 damage GX attack. Game 1 going to Rodrigo there.
Yep.
That was the power of 1 Welder.
Hey, sometimes 1's all you need.
It's a real fast back and forth between these two. I think by the looks of how the game 1 went, it feels like both players are going to try and go on full cylinders and just say, if you've got the Welder and the response KO, I mean, you just kind of had it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things. And I think Rodrigo sort of made a brave decision. I think after seeing some awkward Stellar Wishes, not great targets, you just got to say, if I can just tempo out on my opponent, I'll shorten that clock, give him the least amount of top decks to get back into the game. Sometimes the safest play is to be the most aggressive you can, to give your opponent the least amount of turns to make a comeback in the game.
Yeah, so far in this battle of South America, it looks like Brazil coming out in the lead so far with Rodrigo taking that first game. Matias is going to have to make a comeback here in game 2 and 3 for Argentina.
And I think there's nothing for him to sweat about right now, because you know you're in a mirror match, and you know that you've already seen a Jirachi GX from your opponent, I believe. Well, at the very least, you haven't seen any weak guard energies, so you know that you have that small advantage going on your end at the very least, and you know that you will definitely be drawing better in games 2 and 3, or at least you would hope so, because he had nothing really going for him. He started that goofy Reshiram and Charizard GX that you never really want to attack with in this matchup in particular, unless you are getting into those welders quickly. So that's naturally like an extra 60 damage for a Mega Lopunny, which is already awkward for you, and you just didn't really have enough going for you in those opening turns.
Yeah, very much. And I mean, it is especially interesting though, because again, like we've already said quite a few times, it does just show the power of Raldo. Even though, in theory, looking at the two lists side by side, Matias's list looks more favoured in a mirror scenario, but if you don't find welders, it really just doesn't matter.
They both have enough one-hit KO potential that sometimes the weak guard energy isn't even the most important factor in the game.
All big prizes for...
Speaking of welders.
2 Enelatios as well. That's actually huge.
Yeah, it's a really big deal for sure.
Are those Matias's prizes as well? I think they were, aren't they?
They were Rodrigo's, but I'm not certain. Okay. If he has another wordless game, that's going to be really savage.
Yeah, wait, we can actually double check this because one of them... no, that was Rodrigo's prizes because Matias is the only one playing Jirachi, so
I see.
That means Rodrigo has 2 welders and the Latios prize.
That's a big yikes.
Yeah, that really is.
We're going to see Matias get to kick off the second game, trying to make a big comeback. He's still got over 30 minutes on the clock. You've seen how fast the back and forth can be. As we see, he's going to go through his opening search, eyeing up a Dedenne GX, and also checking out those individual one-offs, because Mewtwo plays so many of those.
Also, quite fortunately, able to start with his 1 remaining Jirachi in spite of prizing the other 2. So that's
the way to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty nice of him. So you can get some extra fishing in with the Stellar Wish ability, but just going to have a quick look through just to see what is available to him before grabbing that Dedenne GX.
And it looks like he might be having to get rid of a couple of reset stamps here, so it's not the most not the most kind Dede change, but
really
at the very least he can Pokemon Communication back in a Charizard and either get himself a Pokemon that he can start developing onto, like this Mewtwo, and looks like he's just going to have to throw away this hand, a Great Catcher and a couple of reset stamps. It's not ideal.
It is quite interesting. I feel like some players, when they play with a Mewtwo, they kind of... they opt to, instead of going for communication for a Mewtwo, if they have something good to discard, they will just discard it straight away and just kind of take the risk on hoping that you do get something else off of the Dedenne change afterwards, just to guarantee that discard. But Matias playing it more safe here, just deciding I would rather just guarantee that I actually have the attacker 2 attached to instead. Yeah,
I think when you're a game down, you have to play like risk averse, just because like something goes wrong and then you have no way of making the comeback. So you just got to try and stay in the game the whole time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he's finally able to Stellar Wish into a welder.
And with the Viridian Forest as well. And he redraws the Charizard anyway, so actually this is a phenomenal turn.
That's worked out great for him. Now he has the full value welder for 2 energies that he can start powering up his Mewtwo GX with. And at the same time, he might even be able to get manual attachments on top of this. So far, far better than his original turn in game 1.
Yeah, no kidding. All he needs to do essentially is just draw any kind of energy off of this welder and he'll be Golden Goose. So let's see if he does 1, 2, 3. Does he get just any kind of energy? No.
No energies for him.
It's still fine, obviously, but
2 in 1 turn is already quite a good deal. So that's not too shabby.
Yeah, that's just going to be the pass then after that, and he heads on the sleep flip. So now over to Rodrigo. How can he respond?
So when you're the player going second in a Mewtwo and Mew tag team mirror match, sometimes dealing with Jirachis, this single prizer, can be such a huge deal. We know that now Great Catcher's obviously a huge card in the metagame, so picking up Dedennes with any sort of attack is very viable, but at the same time that Naganadel GX attack that they can copy to just close out the game, you map out your prizes straight away. You can already see on Matias's field, there's 6 prizes available for you. So if he is able to get a Turbo Strike off in the most ideal scenario, he's going to be feeling really good about his turn.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The fact that if a single prize Pokemon like Jirachi goes down, it makes the prize mapping so easy. Just like one tag team on the Dene and just the one Jirachi. It makes it so that even though you're only taking like one prize of a Turbo Strike, that's absolutely fine because it doesn't force you into any awkward like numbers with like 7 or 8 prize games or anything like that.
Yeah, the Jirachi engine was usually like the lesser popular build pre-Cosmic Eclipse, but there's definitely more reason to go towards a Jirachi engine in this metagame just because of that Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff. Sometimes a good Stellar Wish can save you going for an extra Dede change, for example. So you can see why Matias has gone down this Stellar Wish route, but at the same time it can end up punishing you in specifically the mirror.
Yeah, and it's I mean, it's tricky as well because you could be punished in the other way by benching too many Dedenes and then Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff coming in. So it's kind of just the format generally has warped this deck to those things have to be considered a lot more seriously.
Big poker gear from Rodrigo. He's able to pick up his Welder. There's already an energy in his hand. There's also Viridian in play. He could even like use Viridian, then bounce it for a hearth if he really wants to. Looks like that's exactly what's going to be happening here.
So he discards the reset stamp, not doing that at this exact moment in time. Opts to find the Psych Energy off of that, and then he can just go for the half and probably imagine going to go for a Cherish Ball to find himself that Solgaleo before discarding that off of the half and then getting 2 energy, Weldering, and just doing all those wonderful Turbo Strike shenanigans. Yeah,
I'm not sure if he has the second Mewtwo and Mew in his hand just yet. Is that the other Pokemon that's lying in there?
Yes, it is, question mark.
If not, he might just have to settle for a Mewtwo and Mew, but you're right. Trying to get that Turbo Strike would be such a good deal here. He could also have to play a bit more defensively because you are staring down another Mewtwo, you know.
Did you just discard the Cherish Ball with the... Yeah, he opted not to play the Cherish Ball, interestingly enough.
Very surprising. I would always play the Cherish Ball there, I'm pretty sure. There's so many targets for you to thin out of the deck first. It's a strange call.
Clearly it's thinking of something that we're not realizing, but either way, there goes the Welder onto the Mewtwo and Mew. 3 cards drawn, and...
It's not ideal. It's, well, his only real backups are now this Marshadow and the Jirachi GX that's going to have to hit the field.
That was the other card in his hand.
Yeah, just that Jirachi. I think he's eyeing up a switch as well. He could still go for some attacks with Mewtwo here. I think we see the Mysterious Treasure getting rid of that Psychic Energy. I'm not sure if the Solgaleo's already hit the discard pile just yet.
Maybe it has, in which case, obviously, ignore us, but otherwise it does seem a little bit strange. I mean, even so, like you said, you could just grab literally anything else. Like get the Dene or just another attacker like an Agonade or anything. But either way, the Mysterious Treasure is able to find him the second Mewtwo at least, so that is something. And
it's one of the first cards that he's got in the discard pile, so that was not like the most vital thing, but the Cherish Ball still could have thinned a card. But regardless, Rodrigo does have a very strong turn. He was able to take that first prize card, initiating that race, and also getting energy not only on the active but also the backup attacker, so he can hopefully deal with whatever Matias throws at him.
Yeah, and he also just managed to fish one of his 2 prized Welders out of the prizes, so that's set him up really well for next turn as well.
Yeah, it really does. It's fantastic, and when both players are so reliant on Giant Half, you know that whenever you sort of are in this mirror match situation, unless your opponent goes for their own resetting whole play, it's going to stick around for you.
Yeah, very much. Or say if the opponent plays a Viridian Forest instead, but even then that's still 1 energy, so it's not even that bad. Now, Matias goes for his own Latios GX, of course, his not being prized. Follows up with a Cherish Ball. Be interesting to see what he goes for here. Looks like he's looking at Macargo GX. Or, maybe Solgaleo.
Solgaleo. He's got a lot of good options. It's this sort of point in the game where it's like, all of my moves are good here. It's just deciphering what the best move possible is.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that makes the Mewtwo deck definitely one of the harder decks to play correctly. It's got a lot of different options, but trying to evaluate which ones are the right ones to use during the right turns makes it that's a little bit harder to just play perfectly correctly. But if you can do it, you're in a very good stead to win pretty much any tournament.
It's the difference between correct and most correct, really. That's how it can feel sometimes. Matias is deliberating whether or not putting down this Latios. He could have played Switcher as well to the free Retreater before Dede changing, just to give himself options, but he's just going to throw it away instead and say, I'm always attacking with Mewtwo, it's the best.
Yeah, pretty much. The one nice thing about Latios is that it's one of these GXs that, even though you're usually copying it with Mewtwo instead of attacking directly with it, it's never bad to put down because, well, unless you're worried about it being it being hit for weakness, but generally it's never bad to put down because of course it's got free retreat, so gives you a very flexible anchor to promote, say if something gets knocked out, to then retreat into the ideal thing.
It can be helpful, but at the same time, there's that looming Megalopony Jigglypuff threat.
Yes,
so there is
true.
a reason to nod these days.
Yeah.
But
there wasn't before, perhaps.
Yeah.
But now that's the one difference. The thing you have to.
The Dede
keep in mind.
change looked really strong for him. He's got himself a welder. There's also a weak guard energy in his hand. So he has a lot of options here.
Yeah, ups to welder.
Mewtwo powering up.
2 fires to the active. 3 cards drawn. Just a bunch of GXs.
He'd love to get rid of those at some point later down the line.
Yeah, sure he would. Now, energy-wise, he can attach either the Psychic or the weak guard energy, which, I mean, the weak guard energy doesn't matter as much now because the Jirachi's out, but if you can find a way to KO the Jirachi and attach a weak guard energy, that is a very, very strong play.
For sure. We're seeing another Mewtwo come into play. The Megalopony Jigglypuff is just licking its lips if ever that can come into play.
No kidding.
He's going to use the weakness guard energy on the bench here. So I think we're seeing a slower approach from Matias, which is a little bit odd because you've got rid of 2 reset stamps.
Yeah.
So it's a lot less powerful to be slow here. I think the only other options he has is like Flamethrower, for example. So
or you could just GX, I guess.
yeah, he could GX through this active. I really like this play.
Yes, that's very good.
To sort of try and deny this welder as much as possible. He's going to use the Flare Blitz attack, I believe it is, for the 300 damage.
That's the one.
And it's over to Rodrigo now to see if he can get a response. A lot of energy committed to this Mewtwo in the active. Rodrigo already has that welder from prize cards. I think there was 1 fire energy that he had currently in the hand. So
yeah, but really he needed both, to be honest. I think if the giant half stayed on the field, he can just use the giant half, weld the 2, attach another one, and maybe discard the Charizard GX and do a Flare Blitz of his own just to come back in the game. But welder for 1 energy, that's not ideal.
I mean, Megalopony Jigglypuff, that's the only answer now.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. If he can keep his own bench sort of GX free and just go for a big swing with the Mewtwo, with using that Megalopony Jigglypuff, that's going to be his win condition.
Yeah. Or if so the Acrobikes finds.
He doesn't need that forest. He just wants to dig deeper here.
Oh.
Ganadal's not the worst.
It's not.
Gives you a manual attachment as well.
It's interesting how you opted to go for the Acrobikes before going for the giant half to get the fire energy, though, because
again, it's one of those sequencing things when you're trying to dig for very specific cards. It feels like you should be trying to thin everything that's not that out of hand first. So yeah, now he really is limited with his attacking options.
Yeah.
Maybe forced to retreat here, you know.
Which would be extremely awkward. Not only that, because the only he can retreat into is his Jirachi. If that gets KO'd, that puts Matias in a very good position.
He might be having to go for a Panic Great Catcher to try and slow down Matias.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he does it. So it brings up that.
And I'm sure Rodrigo's ruining that chance to discard an extra GX Pokemon with that Cherish Ball earlier.
Yeah.
Had it have been, for example, the Megalopony and Jigglypuff, he'd be laughing right now.
Anything, right? But opportunity missed, unfortunately. So instead, it's going to have to be another Turbo Strike onto the Jirachi GX, which is really, really not ideal.
Feels rough.
Yeah.
It's going to be... he has to do both targets if he has them.
Yeah, he
so
does.
He's going to attach the 2 fires to that Jirachi. And it's over to Matias now to just close out the game with 1 big knockout. So many energies on the benched Mewtwo that as long as Matias can find a way to retreat the active, and you've just seen his Cherish Ball for that Magcargo. Obviously, this Mewtwo currently doesn't have weakness, so it would take an attachment of some regard to the benched Mewtwo as well in order to do the big 300 damage. But we have a big Dedenne here. We're going to see the manual attachment of Psychic to the Mewtwo, a Dede change, and we're looking for a switch here, and a skateboard. There it is, a skateboard allows him to retreat, and we're suddenly into a 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. So there it is, the lava flow doing 300 damage, just discarding all the energy, and yeah, Matias takes game 2.
Wow, it's fast paced.
Yeah, it is.
We've still got 20 minutes plus on the clock. It is just a huge slugfest between these 2 Mewtwo players.
Yeah, it goes back to something we were saying earlier in the day. You know, one of the things that is really great about the Mewtwo and Mew deck is that it both wins and loses relatively quickly, I feel. So, you know, but that's why probably both these guys are on 6-0-0. They've not taken any ties throughout the entire day, and again, it's probably going to happen again here. We've still got 20 minutes for game 3, so
yeah, I can't see this ending in a tie.
No,
it would be a very odd sort of series of events for them to slow down at this point.
Yeah.
They've really been aggressive from both players so far, and sort of throwing caution to the wind in some points. ironically, we've not actually seen a Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff attack from either of them yet.
No, we haven't.
So they may not even be playing around the card at this point.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe there's some kind of,
We have that prior knowledge, but they have no reason to suspect it at this point.
No,
they can both be thinking in the back of their minds that they have the advantage because they can Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff and the opponent can't. It's so crazy.
It's quite the plot twist. Either that, or maybe they just made some agreement saying, let's just not use them, just because it makes the matchup so more skewed. I highly doubt that somehow, but
yeah, it's a really odd game now. Like they must both still be feeling confident. I feel like neither of them have drawn perfectly.
No, not at all.
But they've both done enough to win their respective games, and they've not shown their trump card for the matchup yet either.
No.
So it's going to be a very, very interesting final game here to close things out. Obviously, Rodrigo gets the advantage to go first here, having lost the last game, and sometimes that can just be the difference in getting that extra few energies into play.
So here we go with game 3. Opening hands, as ever, can be a really big deciding factor, especially in a Mewtwo Mirror, because again, getting those early welders is that important. Looks like both of them do have a basic to start with. Now let's see what's in the prizes.
No welders this time, maybe?
No. Oh.
Solgaleo is a huge one.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Oh, welders.
Not again.
Curse of the commentator. Yeah. I don't believe it. It's Rodrigo again with 2 welders.
Oh, that is a heartbreaker.
Oh man, it completely changes how both of them play now.
Yeah. I think he has a welder in hand though, so he might actually just be fine anyway. Oh no, it's an acrobike. Oh no, yeah,
There's a welder too. Okay. We're in this. Also, Rodrigo does play the Mind Report Mewtwo to try and recover them, so that could be a saving grace for him.
Yeah, it really could. Interesting acrobike decision for starters. Probably just discard the Tyke Genji, right? I mean,
You've got to, I think.
Yeah, then it gives you the two fire in hand, yeah. Now, he has the welder. Does he actually have something good to attach?
I'm not sure if he has any valid targets. He might be having to use this just to draw 3 here.
Oh, no.
He is indeed.
Yeah, we've all been there. Sometimes it's something you got to do when you're playing this deck, and oh dear.
Well, we see the Jirachi GX. I think that's also the Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff in his hand.
Yeah, it is. Does he reveal it?
Art.
Does he reveal it now?
I think you have to.
Yeah.
I think you just really have to, even if it just slows Matias down a little bit, even if it stops an extra Dead A change here and there later on, you've got to get energy onto a relevant attacker here, and you've also probably got to use the Mind Report. You probably just put the Psychic Energy.
Well,
wow, he's not. Wow, okay.
Rodrigo disagrees.
Okay, here we are. He can always do the Mind Report next turn and Poké Gear into it.
Yeah, that's true.
So there is that going for him. But I would probably have got the manual attachment in because this is definitely a matchup where you want to be ahead in attachments and have the next attacker ready to go because you can both one-hit KO each other so easily.
Yeah, very much so. So going into Matias' turn, he's sort of fishing out a Mewtwo straight away. He's, actually no, he might be fishing out Dedenne. I think he was just checking to make sure he had access to Mewtwo's, looking to see where he's got prized.
Yeah, these archetypes play so many individual attackers that you really do need to make sure that you're not in that sort of late game scenario knowing, oh, this attack can win me the game. Oh, where is it?
Yeah.
So you gotta sift through your prize cards and know that you have the right attackers available for you. And he's eyeing up either the Mewtwo or the Dedenne here.
I remember one time I was playing Mewtwo and Mew in a League Cup, and I was in that situation, but the problem was I prized literally all 3 of the attackers. I think I prized like the Charizard, Makago, and Naganadel in the one game. Yeah, I lost that match.
Yeah, fair enough. You expect one maybe, but not every out to win the game. It'd be like that sometimes. Yeah. But here we are, Matias doing that early Pokemon communication, getting his main attacker onto the board, and he's got a bunch of fire energies in hand. He's got Welder. This looks like an amazing turn. He's also got Dead A change after that.
Wow,
so this is incredible stuff.
Look at this. With Welder for 2 NG, drawing 3 cards, got another NG in hand as well from the manual attachment. Another Jirachi down. Yeah, this is a sort of night and day difference in, in starts.
We get to see a manual attachment to that Mewtwo. Dead A change for a fresh 6. We don't see the escape board, so no early tempo prize here.
No,
but
indeed.
He's still chuffed compared to Rodrigo's opening.
Yeah, it's not even close, really, is it? There's Flip for Sleep. Wakes up again. He did lose one of his Mallow and Lanas, but it's not as relevant a card in this matchup, so he's not going to be too upset about it. Yeah,
they're both one-hit going each other for the most part, so it shouldn't be a huge deal here. As Rodrigo might be safe now. He's picked up a Cherish Ball. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a really big find. So you can use that to finally find a decent attacker. So he's going to probably grab himself a Mewtwo and Mew, I'd imagine, unless he needs to grab a Dedenne because he has no other draw outs.
Like I said, he has that Mind Report Poker Gear combo if he wants to guarantee himself. He still has 1 Fire Energy in his hand for a Welder, so he could just grab himself a Mewtwo, attach a Psychic to that Mewtwo, and then do the Mind Report Poker Gear play.
Yeah, it was a good idea to hold off on doing that as well, because it meant that he could draw another card and then still have that combo to get the Welder off. Whereas also finding something else.
Yeah, definitely a fair choice.
So, Cherish Ball finds the Mewtwo and Mew. He's that goes to his hand. He's got Psychic Energy ready to go. Like you mentioned, he's got the wombo combo of Mind Report. This, of course, this Mewtwo with the Mind Report ability lets you, when you put it onto the bench, take any supporter card and put it on top of your deck. So there goes Welder on top. And as mentioned, now he's going to play the Poké Gear, which let him fish it out.
He's going to say, "Yep, we all know it's there.
Yeah.
That's the one I'd like, please."
So he does have another Poké Gear in his hand as well, so he could play that if he wanted to try and fish out something else. He does play other supporters, I'm fairly sure.
It does depend on what he's kind of fishing for. It
Yeah.
feels like he's got to fish for some more attackers and such, so if he's able to thin anything, that could be useful, but he's got so many prize Welders that you can also see why he's just going for the Welder off the bat here.
Yeah, exactly. Also ignore me, he is literally, but he is only playing
Quad
Welder.
Welder,
As a supporter. Only playing 2 Poké Gear as well, interestingly enough.
Well,
Not
they've
playing.
come in clutch so far.
Yeah. So
Welder for 1 on the Mewtwo on the bench. He's still got his manual attachment to go. He's going to have a quick look at some discard pile action here to see where the best place to commit this energy is.
yeah, does he have access to Turbo Strike this turn? Because that'd be pretty ideal. Again, just getting in a KO on the Jirachi, getting some more energy on the board. He can obviously retreat the Marshadow because it's got the Fire Energy already on it, but it looks like no, he doesn't have any means to actually discard a relevant attacker. So just opts to leave the Marshadow active for now.
Yep, and we go back over to Matias now. He's really looking for a supporter or a switching card because his Jirachi is trapped here.
Yeah, not ideal. Finds
Pokemon
himself.
Communication gets him into Dead Change, so that's looking pretty good.
It is as long as he doesn't mind discarding the stuff he has there. Now he has got a great catcher, so I imagine he'll play that before the Dead Change.
He's got to, I think.
Yeah.
So
Because
it looks like a really good turn.
yeah, actually, because as long as he finds a card to switch, he can get a KO. So
yeah, this is looking fantastic.
yeah.
The communication, a great choice here, allowing him to get that fresh hand, and then he's got outs towards more Welders to draw cards, or just physically finding those switching outs. So we can start firing away with this Mewtwo, hopefully onto Rodrigo's Mewtwo as well, with that great catcher play.
Yeah, so attached to the water energy, spicy. That, of course, being in there for the, I believe, if he's playing the Greninja GX, which is an attacker that's, he's playing that. This is being the one from the Detective Pikachu set that just lets you punch through stuff like Keldeo GX, which is otherwise going to be a bit difficult.
So big 6 cards here, 4 energy committed to Matias' Mewtwo. Is there going to be a switching out there?
Oh, I don't see
Doesn't
one.
look like it, but there's a Welder to draw 3 more.
Okay. It's still pretty good. He can power up another Mewtwo.
It's not a bad fallback, and
No.
if he finds a switching card here, he is so far ahead.
Yeah, he is. So does he find one? Oh, no.
No!
He finds a tag call, which can get him a Lana for next turn, but he's already supported, so it's not quite going to be enough.
Rodrigo catches a big break here.
Yeah.
This could have just put him way behind, but Matias missing the correct switching out, so he's just left snapping with that Jirachi.
Yeah, not really ideal. Now, again, it's not the end of the world for him. I mean, Matias is still way far ahead on board state at least, but it just leave a little bit of an opening for Rodrigo. If he can find, say like a great catcher, Welder a couple of energies, and discard a Charizard, he can just get a KO, and all of a sudden he's in the
Even
lead.
the Mega Lopunny Jigglypuff as well.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
4 GXs in play now.
God,
He's Dead changed again. There's
God.
2 Mewtwo's. It's so easy in this matchup to get huge Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff knockouts.
God,
it's
yeah, you're right.
phenomenal that we haven't seen it until now.
Yeah. But it's going to come to play now, and especially if Rodrigo's able to find a Dead Energy X, then he can just draw cards whilst
I
also.
think he's got it all, man.
Yeah.
I see a great catcher. I see Cherish Ball.
Oh
I
boy.
think we're having a big turn here.
Yeah, and there is
Even discards the Mega Lopunny.
see, even better. Now he can discard it without even benching another GX. So
Yep.
wow, that is a phenomenal turn from Rodrigo. That is exactly what he needed. And all of a sudden, he's taking a commanding lead in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got guaranteed knockout on board. If he can Dead change and find potentially even more Welders, he could do. Because again, Rodrigo doesn't know that Matias also plays Mega Lopunny
Yes.
Jigglypuff. Is
Is there an argument for Rodrigo to just hold back on the Dead Change until next turn, just to prevent the extra damage from Mega Lopunny?
Well, I think because there's a Mewtwo of 2 energy anyways, your opponent's always Welder and like a GX attack away.
That's fair.
You probably just want to push yourself as much as possible. Make sure you have your next backup Mewtwo ready to go.
Makes a lot of sense, and that is what he's gone for. The Dead NAGX hits the field, the Dead Change happens, and they're copying the Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff's attack. 3 prizes, easy peasy.
Puffy Smashers. It's a fantastic attack.
Is that
sorry, Jumping Balloon is the original attack.
Yeah.
Puffy Smashers is the GX.
Oh,
my
okay,
bad.
yeah. Jumping Balloon for the KO. Now it's up to Matias to respond. Opts to go for the Jirachi, a little bit safer there. We do see that Rodrigo was able to fetch one of his welders out the prizes, so that's really solid as well.
Matias goes for the Cherish Ball to kick things off. He's also going to have a count of Rodrigo's hand here. I think, he's already looking at that reset stamp. It's like, man, that's a card I really want to Stellar Wish into or try and Dede Change towards if I can. Because he's really going to have to try and disrupt Rodrigo here. If Matias is able to take a knockout on this active Mewtwo, combine it with a reset stamp, he's still in great control of the game.
Yeah, we do see there Matias did get a Cherish Ball off, opted to get the Latios GX, playing another Cherish Ball, going to get himself a Macargo now. I imagine he's going to want to discard these, or if you can't discard them, at least bench the Latios and just go for a Tag Purge. If he's got the Psychic Energy, that's probably...
I think, there's a third Cherish Ball, and there's even a Tag Call in his hand, so he's got a lot of sifting to go through here.
Wow, yes he does. There's the Mega Lopunny, Jigglypuff as well. Not going to be able to do a one-shot on the Mewtwo as of right now. They're doing 180 damage, for 60.
240, right?
It's 240. Oh, is it 60 plus?
60 plus.
Oh,
it's
wow.
big damage, even with 3.
But still not a one-shot.
Not quite there, yeah.
So there's the tag call going for what looks to be another Mewtwo Mew, as well as the Mallow and Lana. So he's got the switching out guaranteed. All he needs is just another energy, essentially.
Just a whole heap of thinning before his own Stellar Wish here. Reset Stamp's a big card. Welder's a big card if he has access to that. Yeah,
Matias absolutely doing the sequencing right here to spin out as much as possible before going for it. So here it is, Stellar Wish. What does he find? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Definitely a big Stellar Wish here.
Oh, we've had a great catcher, but in a Giant Half.
Giant Half opens up the Welder. That gives him 3 more cards. I definitely like where he's going with this.
Yep, good find. Get ups to discard. Oh, Macargo maybe? I guess this is the one thing that he can't put down. So, if he wants to give himself the potential to attack with anything, then even if he ends up not wanting to attack Macargo, he can at least then bench Mega Lopunny or Latios to attack with those 2.
Now it's Welder time, and even bigger 3 cards here. He's still looking for a switching out.
Yeah. He has a Mallow and Lana in hand.
Yeah, but I think you still have to Welder. You can't take a knockout with any 3 energy attack.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Reset Stamps there. That's big.
Yeah, that's big.
I don't think I see a switching card.
No, neither do I.
So do you Resetting Hole, Reset Stamp?
I think you have
Try
to,
and
right?
slow the opponent down.
Yeah, there's a Reset Stamp. Marshadow down, Resetting Hole, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing all the things he can do to try and limit Rodrigo here.
Yeah. But, I mean, the scary thing for Matias is that Rodrigo hasn't even used a GX attack yet. All it would take is, to find the Charizard, discard it, attach with energy, great catcher, and then all of a sudden, that's the game, right? So...
Well, he's by no means out of it, but this is definitely not quite the tempo we're looking for. And wow, what a hand for Rodrigo.
I mean, as soon as you see the Dene, you're laughing all the way to the bank, right?
Yeah, it's a fantastic 3 cards that he picks up, I think.
Yeah.
The Giant Half's a great one. Also got himself...
Resetting Hole.
Resetting Hole, if he wants to. There's already 1 on his board. He could use that Mysterious Treasure on the Marshadow as well to try and get his next Mewtwo. So I think he's still pretty happy with this. This was a fantastic reset stamp for him.
That really was. So Mysterious Treasure gets played, discarding the Marshadow. He does indeed find himself another Mewtwo and Mew GX, just to have that as another backup attacking option, and then he'll have 1 space left on the bench to go for this Dede Change and try to find the means to win the game. I mean, he can definitely do it.
He goes for the Latios instead of the Mewtwo. It's a pretty bold move because as great as it is to take this individual prize, you still want to have a backup attacker here.
Yeah, he would have to use the Marshadow.
Yeah, he could open up his board space that way if he wanted to.
There's the Giant Half discarding Giratina. That's a nice thing to discard again. Goes to the Giant Half. Does he must have the Welder in hand, surely. Or
I didn't see it, so it might just be he's trying to thin a little bit here.
That makes sense. Also, to be fair, it gives him a manual attachment option as well. So.
Exactly.
But does he have the win? Looks like so. Yeah, 3 Fire Energy in hand. No, he would have slammed it down if he had the win, surely.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like an I've won the gameplay. It feels like he's doing as much as he can. He's staring down an opposing Mewtwo with a bunch of energies already committed to it.
Again, cleverly using the Resetting Hole now to discard the discard the Giant Half to stop Matias from using it. Considered using Distortion Door on the Giratina, opted not to. Just instead goes for something.
It's the Tag Purge.
The tag,
sure.
Okay.
He's got to make sure that Matias has to go the long way around this Mewtwo. Because
that makes sense.
All the eggs are in this Mewtwo basket right now.
Yeah, so Tag Purge coming in. No tag team damage able to be done to the Mewtwo this turn, so it's going to be quite hard for Matias to find a KO here.
He's got to work cut out for him. He basically needs to double Great Catcher.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's possible.
I don't know if that's possible either. Actually, if you could find 2 more Fire Energy and a Reshiram Charizard, you could use that GX attack. That would
That's
be
true,
Yeah,
yes.
that would be another way to punch through the Tag Purge.
Yeah, that's probably the more likely of the two.
Yeah. It would mean 7 energy on the Mewtwo though, which actually, to be fair, that's even as long as it doesn't get KO'd, that's fine because then he can just Lava Flow next turn for the win.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to see the Viridian Forest come into play. We're also going to see potentially a switch here.
Yeah.
It's just going to get rid of his own Latios here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe not on. There's not enough Fire Energy left for that play. So.
Is that right?
Well,
okay.
but I didn't see any in the deck, so.
Oh boy.
Yeah. We might be seeing a tag purge war here, because there is the switch.
Switch for more Stellar Wishes.
Well, he's got the Mallow and Lana to switch again, hasn't he? So it's not the end of the world. Oh, reset stamp, big find.
This could definitely be a big one.
Very important there. So you can use that to put Rodrigo down to a 2-card hand to try to eliminate as many outs as possible to Rodrigo winning next turn.
Have we seen the Naganadel GX in Rodrigo's discard pile just yet? I can't tell for certain whether or not we have.
I want to say no from what I can remember so far. There's Mallow and Lana just switching the Mewtwo and Mew into the active position. Psychic Energy attached.
Responding with Attack Purge, I guess.
Yeah, it must be. Or he could be doing. Oh, he could be doing.
Oh, he's doing the Puffy Smashes GX attack here to take.
Wait, what's that actually do?
It does a sleep effect to the active, and it does a 200 damage snipe.
Oh,
so
wow,
he's
okay.
taken out the Jirachi GX, and he's hoping that a sleep flip can help him out.
This could actually be quite clever, like, because obviously it puts 2 more prizes close to the win. There's a sleep flip. It tails!
Oh, it's big. It is so big.
Wow, okay, this game just changed completely.
This is amazing from Matias.
Oh, Rodrigo has nothing! Look at that hand!
I mean, we can see Viridian Forest and attached to a benched Mewtwo GX now. But what else do you do?
God, this concedes!
That's huge!
Out of nowhere, Matias takes game 3 and takes the match with Puffy Smashes GX!
Well, you've got to play to your outs, and it seemed like that was the only way that Matias could squeeze a victory there, using the Puffy Smashes GX attack to buy himself a coin flip to win the game. Wow, what fantastic play. His back was against the wall. He was able to squeak out that victory with very, very cute play at the end of the day. Combining it with the reset stamp to really hurt the outs of Rodrigo there. A clutch way to win the game.
Yeah, that was really, really impressive. Huge congratulations